One staple in RPGs is that at some point you get the ability to steal items from enemies, and Chrono Trigger is no exception. So in this video I will show you a fast way to unlock this skill once you have the right character and the best monsters to use it on. And trust me, you can get some powerful pieces of equipment without spending a single gold coin. Hey, I'm your guide Toby, and this is Toby Continued. Now, the only character in Chrono Trigger who can do this is Ayla, but she does not steal items from her enemies, she charms them instead, so they voluntarily hand them over. Once you meet Ayla in 65 million BC, she does not immediately have this ability and you need to unlock it first by earning tech points. For those of you who don't know, in Chrono Trigger you get both experience and tech points after defeating enemies. Experience is used to level up your characters, increasing their stats, and tech points are required to learn new abilities and spells, or techs as the game calls them. The amount of tech points required to learn a new technique differs, so for example, Chrono earns his Cyclone, Slash and Spin Cut once he has 5, 90 and 200 tech points respectively, and in that order, while Luca earns her Flame Toss, Hypno Wave and Napalm at 10, 60 and 150 tech points. Learning individual techs is also a prerequisite to get the more powerful double and triple techniques, so earning TP is very important and has a great impact on your overall battle performance. Now, Charm is Ayla's 5th ability that she learns for 400 tech points, and that's a lot at this point if you consider that you typically only get a small amount after each battle. But thankfully there is a good spot to farm TP near the village where you meet Ayla for the first time, so it does not take that much effort to unlock it early and get some spicy pieces of equipment. So let's see how we can quickly start charming. Now, some people in Ayla's village tell you about a hunting range, and that's where you want to go. It's located northeast, and here you can hunt monsters for items like horns, feathers and tails, which are used as trade goods back in the village. You will also notice that it occasionally starts raining in the hunting range, and during that time, rare monsters will appear in certain spots, and that's exactly what we are looking for. Now, the rare monsters in question are Gnus that appear either in the top left, top right or bottom right corner, and only during the rainy part of the day. Defeating a Gnu earns you 30 tech points each time, and that's way more than you usually get. You can also fight them over and over, but there's only one Gnu active in one of the spots each time it rains, and he appears there randomly, so you first need to find him. In addition, once you defeat a Gnu in one spot, he won't spawn here anymore until you re-enter the area. So what I like to do is wait in the bottom right corner of the map, and if the Gnu is not appearing here once it starts raining, I quickly run north and then west to check the other two spots. If you are quick, you can check all 3 spots during one rain session and get into a fight. And fighting a Gnu is easy. At first he appears scary because his attacks always reduce you to 1 hit point, but they actually cannot kill you, so you can just wail on them until they fall over. Just be careful after the fight when you are running around to not start another encounter with the common enemies while you are on low hit points. The first time you defeat a Gnu, you will also get a 3rd eye in addition to the 30 tech points. This is an accessory that, at least to my knowledge, is the only way to increase your evasion rate. Now, it took me like half an hour or so to accumulate the necessary TP for Ayla to learn Charm, but I would also advise to switch your other party members around to catch up on characters lagging behind. For example, I used Mal so she could learn Haste, which is useful for future boss battles. Now, once you got the Charm ability, you can use it right away on another Gnu that you encounter to get the Mob. A useless weapon for Chrono with the least attack power in the game. Oh, and by the way, you will also have a lot of trade materials because every defeated Gnu gives you 3 horns, petals, feathers and tails, and you can use them to get some quick money. just trade them for stone arms and flint edges back in the village, then go to Medina village in 600 AD and sell those weapons for some quick cash. So if you ever wanted to buy one of those overpriced but powerful pieces of equipment in Medina, now is your chance. So let's see which enemies have the best items. Now, the good thing about getting Charm early is that you can already get some neat weapons in the Webtide layer directly afterwards. By charming the Evil Weevils, Fly Traps, Green Webtides and Megasaurs, you can get a Dream Gun, Dream Bow, Magma Hand and the Eon Blade, which are all big upgrades compared to the stuff that you have at this point. In addition, charming the Winged Apes will get you a Ruby Vest, and you can get another third eye from the boss in this bill at the end. Unfortunately, Ayla temporarily leaves the party afterwards, so you have to wait for quite some time until you can charm again. Now later on your quest, when you have to rescue Melchior on Mount Wu in 12,000 BC, you can again get a lot of good items in one place. First, in the Beast Cave right before you get to the floating mountain, you can get rainbow helmets from the beast monsters and a speed tap from the Mud Imp boss, along with a mermaid cap from his blue beast companion. Then on the mountain itself, you can get an alloy blade from the Bantam Imps, a big hand from the Gargoyles, a pearl edge from the Man-Eaters, and another speed tap from the main body of the boss Giga Gaia. Especially the speed taps are invaluable because using them on a character is the only way to permanently increase their speed stat. Now you can also get the items that I mentioned so far by finding them in chests later or buying them from merchants, but there are 3 items in particular that you can only get by charming enemies. Those exclusive items are Ozzy's Pants, Flea's Vest, and the Slasher 2, which you can get from Ozzy, Flea and Slash when you fight all 3 of them at the same time in Ozzy's evil hideout in 600 AD. And while you are there, don't forget to pick up the powerful weapon and armor for Magus in the secret area alongside the speed tab. Ozzy's evil hideout is available after your deadly confrontation with Lavers in the Ocean Palace and when you have the Flying Epoch. Oh, and by the way, it's actually possible to win this initial battle against Lavers and end the game early. It's not easy though, and requires a lot of preparation and a little bit of grinding too, but if you manage, you will see a secret special ending of the game where you can talk to some of its developers. I will make a video on how to beat this incredibly hard boss fight next, so subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss this. And while we are talking about bosses from side quests, you can charm another speed tap from the Retinite boss in Fiona's quest, where you go into the desert cave, and some useful mails from other bosses like Yakra the 13th, Mother Brain and the Son of Suns. But you can get by far the best charm rewards from enemies in the Bad Omen at the very end. Seriously, there's so much good stuff here that it's almost mandatory to have Ayla in your party. I would advise to enter the Omen first in 1000 AD, because if you get through it in this age first, you can enter it again in 600 AD and 12,000 BC, although you will not encounter all enemies or bosses the second and third time. Honestly, you should just use charm at anything that moves in here, be it boss or common enemy, as you will either get a tab, elixir or powerful piece of equipment, and I will just quickly highlight the best ones. So at one point you will encounter a tab star directly after a save point, and those enemies have an attack tab. And they actually respawn, so by re-entering this area you can fight the tab star over and over and get an infinite supply to maximize your character's attack power. Something else that you definitely don't want to miss is charming the panels, because you can get a speed tab from each of them. They don't respawn like the top stars, but there are quite a few in this dungeon and you can get like 20 of them, which is insane, and you can easily max out the speed stat for a couple of characters if you keep charming them. Another thing you don't want to miss is charming the head and shell of the Laver spawn, because you will get a haste and save helm. The haste helm puts a permanent haste buff on the character and is one of the best ways to maximize their damage output. The last thing I want to mention is the final boss Queen Zeal in her avatar form, because you can charm a prism dress and helm from her left and right hand. They will counter with some nasty attacks afterwards, but it's worth the effort because those are some of the best armor pieces in the game. And the best thing is, you can fight Queen Zeal again in the Omen in 600 AD and 12,000 BC and charm additional prism items so you can get a complete set. And that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed and learned something today, and if you did, please leave a like and tell me about your favorite charm items in the comments. And always remember that this is To Be Continued. Thanks for watching.